Hello, hello. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about resting and recovering. Since I spoke yesterday, I mentioned something about recovery in um, my live my live video, and I had a question about it. So somebody was asking like some of the things that I do to rest and recover. So just wanted to talk a little bit about why rest is necessary, mainly because our muscle tissues need to repair and rebuild and strengthen. But there's really so much more to rest. No, it is not. That's so funny. We were just talking about this. But there's so much more to recover for recovery than just than resting, like passive resting, like a day of not working out. So no, this is not for you, Dane. Like it is in a way, but it's not. But like I just said, a lot of people think of a rest day as like, oh, it's just my day off from having to work out. But from a physical standpoint, within our training routine, we all know that, both rest and recovery are super important components of a workout program. And it keeps our body from overtraining. So if you didn't rest and you started to possibly overtrain, which happens, it can lead to an injury, which none of us want. None of us want to be having to be out of the gym for, 3 months or 3 weeks at that, even. So I just wanted to go over the differences between rest and recovery and some of the ways that I both rest and recover, and if that's helpful to you guys in some way. So first off, I want to talk about rest because there's like different types of rest. There can be like passive rest, which is just like sleep, right? Sleeping is probably the most important type of rest that we get because so much happens to our bodies when we sleep. We know that, the average person typically needs like 7 to 10 hours of sleep each night, but that depends from person to person. Also, the way our bodies just recover also depends person to person. That's individuality, so everyone's different. But it's typically sleeping is more of like that passive rest. So is just like resting, like putting your feet up, watching some TV, and just, not doing anything at all. That's more of that passive rest. Think of it as like a day of like no physical work, right? You're not doing anything. You're not running around the house cleaning. You're not, really resting your body is just like at pure rest. But then we also have active rest, right? So that can be like maybe you're going to be walking a lot or hiking even, or like I said, cleaning around the house where you're like burning some calories and you're still moving your body around. So like I said, sleep is the most important part of that rest part. And then there's also some relaxation techniques as well for the passive rest type of things. Like you can just lie down and do some breathing techniques. Meditation even doesn't use a lot of energy, so that's also another possibility. But I really wanted to get more into recovery because this is the other part. So oftentimes people think of recovery and rest as sort of the same thing, but they're sort of different. So the recovery part means all the things that you work on for your body's repair through like various techniques, or like they're really like action oriented. So some of these are probably things that you've done, some of them maybe not. But I just wanted to go over some of the things that I utilize. So some people use like heat or ice types of therapies, so like cold or hot. That could be maybe you're doing like going from, I know like a lot of health clubs and spas have this where you can go from like the cold water plunge into like a hot steam room, something like that, where you're going from hot to cold. You can be doing cryotherapy. I've done that a few times in the past. And yes, you do notice a difference. Like you feel like you can go from being like somewhat sore to really not feeling as sore afterwards. And then there's also salt bath soaks. So this is something that I use a lot, like at least once a week. I have to kind of soak my body in the bath if I want to like get up and be able to move the next day after my like hectic teaching schedules. So I just use either Epsom salt, or I just came back from the Dead Sea, so I brought some Dead Sea salt back, which has more minerals in it. So what happens is you're putting a lot of magnesium and different salt-like minerals into your water, and you just kind of allow your body to soak in all those minerals. And what happens is all that magnesium can go right to the muscles and help that muscle repair. So you're actually, the next day, you won't feel as sore. And it actually works. It's also good for other reasons, general health. So I can get into some more of that. Also dry brushing. There's a lot of good reasons why people will use dry brushing as a form of recovery, because again, it helps eliminate some of the toxins that are held up in the tissue. One of the biggest things, so this is I'm a strong component of, is, and I'll get to your questions, guys, in a few seconds. One of the biggest things that have made a difference for me is massage. So I've been now going, I have a membership, so I go get a massage once to twice a month. And you can use, there's other ways if you can't make it to going out and getting a massage all the time, because it can be pricey. It's also all time consuming, right? Because it takes up a good half of my day, once or twice a month. Between getting there and then like coming home and getting redressed for the day. So it's like it can be sort of a nuisance, and that's why I think a lot of people don't treat themselves to a massage as frequently. So as far as massage goes, that's super important. That helps me out a lot. But if you can't do it and always get out to do that, you can find other ways to sort of get the same benefits of a massage by doing it yourself, using massage balls or massage sticks. So like those are like the things that you can see, like people might like the massage balls you can kind of like roll around on and kind of work into some of those muscles. The sticks, you can kind of do the same thing. A lot of people use them a lot on their legs. I believe in self-myofascial release, so it's SMR or foam rolling. So if you use foam rolling, you can even use that daily, pre-workout and post-workout, to kind of like release some of those lactic acid buildup that can happen. Let's see, what else? Oh, so one of the things, and I wish I would have brought it, I should have grabbed it before I started this. So I started using a fascia tool. It's called the Fascia Blaster. And I have two different tools, a big one and a small one. And that works really well to break up all the fascial adhesions, which are what we call knots. We think that the knot is a muscular thing, but really it's your fascia that sits, like it's the connective tissue that actually sits over the muscle that tends to get like a little like clumped up, which causes that muscle to feel like, oh, I feel that knot, but really it's that fascia that's like going right over that muscle. And that has been like a huge help for me, because it can also get into places that sometimes we don't have time to work on when I go get my massage. And then I always do it before a massage, so that way when I get my massage done, it's a much better quality massage. So all of my connective tissue is like, instead of it being like, think of like chicken wire and it's like all like clumped up, it's sort of like nice and flat. So then that way my masseuse can get directly into exactly the muscles and the issues that I'm having. Let's see, is there anything else I'll do a whole nother video on that fascia tool if enough people are interested. Another way of recovering is stretching, more of like, this is more of like active stretching. Again, you can do this every day, or you can do it like a very intense stretching session like once a week, like doing something like yin yoga. So it wouldn't be like, it's not going to be a type of yoga where you're working a lot. It's really more about more of like restorative. Nutrition. So nutrition is key because everything that we put into our bodies will either help it run optimally or slowly poison it. It's like one or the other. And I hate to make it sound like it's like super scary, but it's the truth. Like, you know, food can be medicine or it can be like poison to our bodies. And good nutrition will really help optimize protein synthesis. So it's really the process of the protein content of the muscle cells, increasing that protein content, meaning when we go to the gym and we work out, you can lose, I think I talked about this in yesterday's live, how you can actually like lose muscle. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, we're all looking to like gain a bunch of like bulky muscle. No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about like the standard person. Everybody needs their muscle. So even when you go and you're trying to be fit and healthy, you are trying to gain muscle or keep the muscle that you have because it will slowly go away. So good nutrition will obviously help all of that, right? So when we're eating right, the right foods, we're actually helping with that. So again, think of it on that like cellular level. You can also supplement with certain nutrients that will help with all of this, like, you know, muscle fatigue and muscle soreness and things like that. So just as we were talking about magnesium, a lot of people take something like a calcium magnesium supplement type of thing where you can take it in a pill form or powder form, and that helps you just to like reduce that muscle soreness. One of the things that I started taking recently when I started learning about gut health, I started adding in collagen into my shakes. And what I didn't realize that collagen helps with so many other things. So it's not just helping with the tissue in the gut, but it's helping with the muscle. It's just helping with the muscle tissue throughout your body. So what's great about that is that I do find myself being less sore and being able to recover much quicker. So the better you feed your body, the easier it will be to recover. The other thing is hydration. I know this is something that I even struggle with, especially in the winter months, is getting enough water in. But obviously we know that hydration is critical for our overall health. But it also helps with energy and performance in addition to recovery. And obviously our bodies are comprised mostly of water. So after we do whatever type of activity, we need to replenish all the energy stores from the fluids that we lost during whatever we were doing. So that's where nutrition and hydration are super important to recovery. If we're not taking care of ourselves, our bodies just won't recover. But I did want to say one other thing that's important, because a lot of people think of recovery as like, oh, I really don't need to do that. Like I can just keep working out every single day and I just want results. I don't want to take a break. But the reality of it is that if you give your body time to recover and you treat it well, that you'll get far better results, because your muscle will do what it's supposed to do. It has the rest period. It's able to, like I said in yesterday's, you're breaking down the muscle. Now it needs to rest and repair in order to grow. So if you actually want to see far better results, you need to rest and recover. It also helps with performance. Like, who doesn't want to perform better? I know a lot of people, like, when they first start off with fitness goals, it's more about like losing weight or looking a certain way and less about performance. But then you quickly learn that, like, you know what? I want to be able to like run faster or jump higher, or just be able to walk longer periods of time. Like maybe you work on your feet and you want to be able to just stand longer. So taking care of your body and allowing it to rest and recover will also help with performance. So I hope that this has been helpful to you, and you maybe get some good ideas with how to rest and recover more often, because I know it's something that a lot of us struggle with. I teach a format specifically about, for people who can't, who kind of, it's a sneaky way to get your flexibility training in for a lot of people, because a lot of us just don't want to stop, and we want to go all the time, and we don't really want to stop and allow our body to rest and relax. It's sort of it's the American culture, really. We're always on the go, and resting and recovery and relaxation is sort of a luxury to us in many ways. So just hope that this gives you the okay that this is important, that this is necessary, and I hope it just opens up something for you to allow yourself to spend more time resting and recovering. So guys, let me know if you want to hear more about any of these techniques. I can always do a live on actually using whatever it is that I'm working on, whatever that day. If you need help with foam rolling, I can do a video on that. I promise it won't look pretty because it's such a painful thing. And definitely the fascia tool. I will come back on about the fascia tool. So I have some questions. So first off, Dana was asking, since she mentioned that since she's changed a lot of her habits, that she's able to rest and sleep so much better. Yes. It wasn't until recently when I was stressing myself out too much at work. I can't see the rest of this. That's weird. It's not showing me the full note, but I get you. So yeah, absolutely. And then Nikki was saying, I just read about RejuvePod. Any insight? RejuvePod. I don't know. I wish you were. Are you still on, Nikki? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I know that we have a fellow business partner for a company called RejuvePod, which actually has it's a business that you go to and you can sit in those pods. I've done something like that before. Skin Palette. Is Skin Palette still around? They had one of these pod machines that was sort of I forget what type of technology it was. I think it was vibration driven that helps your body recover. So yeah, I'm a fan of anything that helps your body recover. So if I guess you're jumped off, Nikki. I wish I knew what she was talking about. That's a very I'm not sure if that's a specific product and not just the generic use of the name for those machines. But I'd love to find out more about that. So, all right, guys. Dana said my note was more of an observation, reality check than a question. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need to rest more. And sometimes isn't it interesting that we sometimes get forced to rest? We something happens in our life, we get sick or we hurt ourselves or whatever it is, and then we're shoot, we definitely need to rest more, and that's why this happened. But then it also forces you to rest more. So I know sometimes that's what happens with me. It's I go and then something happens and it forces me to rest. But when I've been trying to heal my hormonal imbalance and gut issues, a lot of these recovery things became even more important for me, because I ended up where I was told by my doctors that if you want to keep being this active, you have to do just as much recovery work and relaxation work than you do activity. So it became okay, I'm going to be taking care of myself. I'm going to be taking all these supplements to make sure that everything is recovering internally. I'm going to make sure that I soak. It's a non-negotiable now for me to soak once or twice a week. It's a non-negotiable for me to use my foam roller once or twice a week, and to use my fascia tool once or twice a week. It's also a non-negotiable for my massage once or twice a month. So it's like these things are super important for me, because if like I wouldn't be able to do what I do for work if I didn't take care, it would actually be detrimental to my health. And I wouldn't be able to do some of the things that I love to do in the way that I work out. So I probably, I needed to hear that, and I needed to like understand and take it very serious. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So keep me posted, and I will be on soon with some more on some of these specific ways to recover. All right, guys. Thanks again.